Hey Scott, so I guess we're off our game early morning here for us. Um, do you have an update at all on Brad or Howell?
Um, Howell is still getting better. Game time decision tomorrow. Brad felt great. Still doing all the treatments and all the things that he has to do to be ready. I'm sure we'll know more about how later on today and then tomorrow. But Brad's feeling good.
And the Celtics have been pretty generous on defense and allowing points at the rim, especially lately. Obviously, it works out pretty well for you guys, and we're talking to Daniel later. But how much of a good defensive matchup is that for you guys, especially after what we saw last game with Ish and Russ being able to work really well, kind of in that arena?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we have to play. We have to be able to attack the rim. We got guys that can get to the paint, and we got some shooters that can space out the floor. But our penetrating guards are dynamic, and we want them to get to the bucket and create opportunities to get to the free throw line or get some early fouls so we can get into the bonus, because we need to get to the free throws. We need free throw attempts. But Ish, Russell, Brad, those guys can, Hau can get to the paint, but we need that. I mean, I know this team that has a couple of really good shot blockers that we have to be aware of, but we are definitely we're at our best when we're attacking the paint and not settling for jump shots.
Leonardo.
Hi, Coach. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well. Coach, what does this playing mean to you as a coach?
I think it's great for all of us. It's great for the league, great for the basketball world. It creates a lot of excitement, and it gives a lot of teams reasons to compete, to get involved in the play-in game. And look what it's created. Look all the excitement it's creating now. Some of these early play-in matchups are pretty. There's a lot of intrigue. So we're playing against a really good team, but I'm excited that we fought our way back to be in this position and give our credit where it's due with our players, never giving up or giving in, and just fighting together for, hopefully we can keep playing well and keep moving forward.
And just a quick one, in terms of overall, what are your thoughts on Russell Westbrook's season?
Remarkable, but it's nothing that I'd never seen before, and it's not something I'm surprised at. It's just he's as unique as any player in this game's history. And the thing that there's many things I love about him, but his leadership has been just on point. He pushes our young guys enough and loves them enough, but he has a pretty good balance. He's able to find that sweet spot. But his play has just been incredible. But yeah, he's like I've said before, he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Neil.
Scott, I wanted to pick your brain about the timeouts and stuff in the fourth quarter. It looked like 7 minutes left. You had taken a timeout and maybe thought about challenging something. Robin was kind of saying, no, don't challenge it. Then a minute later, Brad had the verticality with Cody Zeller. If you had that third timeout that you had taken earlier, would you have maybe considered challenging that one?
Yeah, I mean, there's always plays throughout the game you would consider challenging, but you got to also, the 50-50 ones are tough to challenge because there's a lot of contact on a lot of plays throughout the game, and you can argue that everyone's a foul. The referees do a good job of understanding incidental contact or knock your balance off, contact type of foul. So those are always tough decisions. Everybody has them. I've watched many games, and if you call it early and then you don't have it late, and if you have it late and then you only have one timeout, then you're risking a last second play that you might have to throw it from baseline to baseline. So I trust our guys. I was going to my in-game vision of that play was, okay, did LaMelo gather on his and one? I thought he did not. So I stalled as much as I can, like everybody does, and I listened to our players and coaching staff, and I didn't challenge it.
Chase.
Hey, Scott, you played the Celtics 3 times this year, but the last time was in February, and that game kind of came down to Jason Tatum getting to the rim. But since you've added Daniel Gafford, they haven't played you with Daniel Gafford. What type of difference do you think he can make in this matchup between these teams?
Well, he's been great since the pickup. That was a great pickup for us. He puts a lot of pressure on the rim. His roles are dynamic. We got playmaking guards that can create a lot of difficult positions that the defense has to be in. And he's been able to pretty good shot blocker since we picked him up. So we have a lot of respect for Boston, how they play. They got some really good players. But Gaff is a big part of what we do, and I'm looking forward to continue to develop his game.
And you kind of alluded to this maybe a couple weeks ago about Brad and kind of, getting to this point the last few years, what it's been like for him. What kind of sense do you get, and maybe for yourself too, just, you guys went through a lot these last 2 years to get back to the postseason. What's the feeling getting back after going through taking your lumps, I guess you could say?
Yeah, like I said yesterday or the day before, he doesn't get enough credit of what he's had to go through with all the injuries we've had the last 3 years. And trust me, he doesn't like getting triple teamed and things like that, but he had to go through that because of what we were playing with and the transition that we pivot our team with, playing a lot of the younger players and giving guys opportunities. But he's handled it like I knew he would. And, now that we're playing much better, our younger guys are improving and added some valuable pieces, but he's a winning basketball player. That he's about team, and like yesterday was another classic example of what he's about and how he's going to continue to help us build the program forward.
Last question to Fred.
Hey, Scott. Historically, Brad's been put a lot of time on Tatum, and you've had Rui guard big wings like Tatum as well. How important is Brad's mobility in terms of what you guys want to do guarding a player that good?
Well, Jason's obviously a well-rounded player. He's an all-star for a reason. There's not a lot of them in the league. We're going to have multiple players guard him, but like all the great players, you need a lot of eyeballs on those players. Like they're going to have the same situation trying to guard Brad with the players that they want to put on him. So everybody's going to get a crack at him. And like I said, it's going to take a total team effort to stop Jason and their better players. All right, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Good to see you too, Brad.
My man.
You looked like from watching from afar, you were grimacing a lot in that game. You were limping, you were touching the hamstring. How healthy would you say that you were in that game, and what was that experience like fighting through that injury to play?
I don't know what percentage. Obviously not 100. I mean, we all know that. I can't really put a percentage on it. I know there's a lot of limitations to things that I can and can't do. But it becomes a mind over matter thing, and obviously it loosens up throughout the game, and you just try to control what you can and try not to, overextend your body or put yourself in, unfortunate situations. So obviously early on was going to be tough. I knew that. I mean, I haven't played in a week. I haven't done anything. I haven't seen 5-on-5 in a minute. So I knew that was just going to be an adjustment and just trying to more or less try to figure out what I can and can't do. And, kind of go from there. First quarter was definitely rough. But more than anything, just staying with it and staying confident. Eventually, the game will open up, which it did.
Yeah, what allowed you? You seem to be at least moving better in the second half. What allowed you to kind of get that burst in the second half?
Well, in the first quarter, I think we had my hammy taped, and it was like tugging a little bit too much on that area, and so I took it off. And actually, when I took it off, I felt a little bit better. I played with a compression sleeve on as well too, so it felt better once I took the tape off. Obviously, didn't feel back to 100, but I was able to move a little bit more smoother than what I was. And so once I was able to do that, I was able to figure out, okay, what I could and couldn't do, find some ways to attack, get my shot off, and second half was different.
Scott.
Brad, it's always good to see you. Obviously, this franchise has had plenty of history with Boston in playoff type situations, and here we go again against Boston and basically in a playoff game. Exciting, your approach to this game. I guess your personal feelings toward facing Boston in a big game again.
It's always fun. We know that this is a competitive organization. They're always, they're competing for a championship every year. So we're looking forward to it. Obviously, this isn't the same. Neither team is the same as it was a couple of years ago. I think I'm probably the last troop still here from that team, and I can tell you who's still remaining from their team. Maybe Marcus Smart. That's probably the only guy left. So more than anything, man, we're just competing. We know we've had some tough battles earlier this year, and then obviously a few years ago. We know how that went down, but it's definitely amazing to be back in that position to where we're fighting for something else in the playoffs. We're both fighting for, high position. So I'm definitely excited about it, playing against my brother again, and everything's on the line. So,
this team clearly has the momentum, the confidence. You guys got to be feeling good right now. I hate making comparisons to past years and whatnot, but overall body of work, you guys got to be feeling awfully confident in the momentum, as I mentioned, going into however long you can make this run for.
Most definitely. It's crazy. We can't really point to what started it or, how we ended up, going on this nice little run, but it clicked at the right time. Obviously we're healthy, which is something I always say. As long as we have all of our guys, we know what we're capable of doing. It's just a matter of us staying that way, staying healthy, and just being available for our team. And man, I don't really know. Like, we're really just meshing well. We're playing well. Everything is clicking. I laughed and said we're actually starting to defend. We actually made a decision to defend a little bit. So, whenever, we're putting our minds to, what's been working, we didn't change it. We stuck with that. We took it a day at a time, which I think we can credit it to.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Chase.
Hey, Brad. The trajectory of your career has been to where, at one point you were very accustomed to going to the playoffs, actually winning series. And then, of course, it was a couple years where you had to take your lumps. And, now you're back. I'm just wondering, how rewarding is it to be back in the postseason? And I guess, how fun has it been to these last few weeks to be winning for the first time in years, essentially?
It's been amazing, and it's all I've been caring about. I've been focusing on. Like you said, I haven't been in the playoffs in like 2-3 years, and so that's unlike us. We're usually there. We're usually fighting, competing, and in the mix. So, like you said, I definitely took some bumps and some lumps on the way, and it definitely helped mature my game and prepare me for this situation. But I'm definitely excited we're back to where we belong. We're a playoff type team, and so I'm happy we gave ourselves an opportunity. To finish out the year the way we did. We finished at 8, which the year was regular, we'd still be in the playoffs. So that's amazing to hear.
And you mentioned it, your brother, Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
up against him in a very important game. What's that going to be like? What are these next, I guess 30-something hours going to be like between you guys?
Oh, I mean, it's the same as it always is. Like, we're very competitive. That's my brother. At the end of the day, we love each other to death off the floor. when we step in between the lines where, he plays for Boston, I play for Washington. We're still brothers, but we compete. We both want to win. We're both playing at high levels right now. And it's always fun. I'm always his biggest fan and just watching him grow in the league and just to see his strides and to see where he's going. But I'm definitely excited about my team and where we are and the possibilities and chances we have in beating them and moving forward.
Matt Paris.
Like you and Russ do for raising the ceiling of, anything could, go this time of year, but having the caliber of players that, you and Russ are?
It breeds confidence. It just trickles down to everybody. It gives everybody a sense of, security in a way and positivity. Like I was asking myself the whole last 48 hours of whether or not I was going to play yesterday. It's tough because at the end of the day, it's not all about me. It's about my teammates, helping them out, giving them, a sense of confidence and belief that, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be, and I'm going to help in any way I can. And it took a while for me to realize, how important that part of the game is, being available for your team, being there, encouragement and all of that, great body language. Like all of that plays a factor into being a good leader. And so I've definitely learned that along the way through this year. And yesterday was a testament to that, just being available for my team, regardless if I was 100% or not, just understanding how impactful you still can be.
And did everything come out okay with the hamstring? Would you be good to go for 2
Yeah, there was no setback, which is good. I didn't injure it any worse than what it was, so that's positive. Obviously, it still probably won't be 100%. It's just a matter of managing it and playing as best I can.
Ava.
Brad, I kind of wanted to ask you to elaborate a little bit on what you were just talking about, just in the whole picture of leadership thing. I think you talked about this when you were on the jump in regards to Russ. And I'm just wondering what you've learned from him this year as it relates to being like a franchise guy and being that type of face of a team, if you've learned anything at all from him.
The biggest thing is his mental approach to the game and to his teammates. He always wants to win, and it may come off as nasty and ugly sometimes, but that's him. He wants to win. Everything isn't going to be perfect. Everything isn't going to be beautiful. But he doesn't demand something out of anybody else that he doesn't do out of demand out of himself, or expect out of himself. And I respect that. Each and every night he comes out with the mentality that he's the best player on the floor and that he's going to be the best playmaker on the floor. And he goes out and does that, and for him to do that night in and night out on a consistent basis, it propelled me, it propelled my game because, I've seen times where he's hurt. I know he probably shouldn't even be playing, but he's out here, he's competing, he's going hard, and he's still getting triple doubles. He's still, leading, he's still talking to his teammates, so it's very motivational in a lot of ways, to see, a man be able to just channel that type of energy night in and night out. And it's just all about mental toughness. His mental confidence in where he is in his game and his life is, nobody can hinder it. Nobody can touch it, and I think that's something I'm trying to grasp to my own.
And then the win you guys had against Boston on Valentine's Day was kind of one of the high points for you guys. It started off like that first really big stretch. Do you go back to that game and say, okay, here's what we can replicate from that situation, or not at all, because your roster was pretty different at that point?
Yes and no. Like I can't. Like our roster is, like you said, has been so up and down this year. We've had a lot of guys. We've been hurt. We've had it, guys from G back and forth between their assignments and 10-day guys. So it's like our team hasn't been fully outlook of it hasn't been the same the whole year. So I won't necessarily say that. And I think the last time we played them was a 1 o'clock game, and I don't think everybody's ever ready for a 1 o'clock game. So, we know there'll be a different team tomorrow. We're a different team, definitely, especially after the trade deadline. So I'm definitely excited and curious to see how everything goes tomorrow.
Thanks, Brad.
Last question to Neil.
Hey, Brad, you are correct. You and Marcus Smart are the only remaining members from 2016-17.
It's me versus Marcus tomorrow.
Yeah. For your hamstring, can you kind of take us through how you come to the process of, okay, yes, I am going to play for the Hornets game versus, you obviously didn't play for the Hawks and Cavs, and obviously, I'm sure you're progressing. And does the training staff ever tell you something like, well, you can play, and most likely, you won't re-aggravate it, you won't make it worse, because I think that's always a concern with hamstrings.
Yeah. So I definitely get my feedback from our team docs, our trainers and everything first. The biggest thing for them is they say I know my body better than anybody, and I'll tell them the same thing. So it ultimately comes down to me making the decision. It's never easy. It's never easy, honestly, because for me, I didn't want my first game back to be the playing game, which is, knock on wood, if we lost yesterday, all the marbles are on Tuesday, so I didn't necessarily want that. I at least want to give myself a chance to see how I felt, even if that meant, I might have set myself back, even if that meant not being able to play on Tuesday, so I understood how important this game was, just in terms of a positioning standpoint, giving ourselves a chance to play one game versus two potentially. And just all of that stuff factored into it, which is why I said it ultimately became about my teammates and helping them and less about me. 100%, it's always, as a player, you want to be selfish and take care of your body and look out for yourself. And I do that, but, I'm also hard-headed in a lot of ways too. And, I love the play and I love being out there with my teammates. And yesterday, I kind of made a hard-headed decision and played probably when I shouldn't have, but, we made the best of it. And honestly, it's going to be something that, you're going to have to deal with, whether it's today or whether it's Tuesday. So I just was like, okay, I'll just deal with it today and see how it goes. So it's pretty much how it came down to it. I mean, the medical staff they weren't 100% with it. Some guys were, some weren't, but, I think that's what I respect and love about our group. I get that, I get a good mix of both. I get devil's advocate, on either side. So, I definitely credit our staff, for the diligent work that they did and for the information that they shared with me, and giving me some confidence to be able to go on the floor, for sure.
And Scott said that you were feeling good, feeling great. How would you say, is it just regular soreness that you would expect? Is it feeling as good day after as you could hope it was?
Hey, Brett's on mute.
Brad, you're on mute.
My bad, blame Scott. But I feel good. I would say I'm not as sore as I thought I would be. I'm not as beat up as I thought. Like I feel pretty good. Still a little bit sore, but obviously treatment will be my friend in the next 24 hours. So.
Thanks, Brad. Hope you feel better.
Thanks, guys.
Daniel, just wanted to get your kind of thoughts in general on the matchup. What do you feel like you guys need to do, especially on defense against this team?
Really just, make guys uncomfortable as much as we possibly can. Make them take shots that, that'll help us succeed in the long run, make them take shots that they're not really used to taking, and just having them get downhill and just finish over our link, really, and just making sure on the defensive end that, we're physical and we got to keep guys off the glass on the offensive glass on the other end of the floor, because if we can control the boards and if we can control, shots that they take, it's going to be a good game for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of on that note, what's your mindset like as kind of someone who's a little bit younger, going into a high pressure situation, not quite the playoffs, but almost the playoffs? Have the vets kind of been talking to you guys about that at all? Or is it the kind of thing where you don't want to talk about it that much?
I don't know if it's something that they want to talk about. I don't know, but I haven't really, been hearing anybody like talk about it. They might do it, somewhere where I'm not around or anything like that. But just the mindset is just, just coming in and just taking care of business. Because I mean, if we prosper and whatnot in this first game, then I mean, sky's the limit for us at this point.
DA.
Hey, Gaff, I'm wondering, coming from a rebuild situation to this, where this team really since you've been here, has sort of taken off. Just what it feels like when you're playing for something that's down the road as opposed to playing for a playoff spot right now, what the different mindsets are.
I mean, really, like I said, just the mindset is just, it's really just taking one game at a time. I mean, if we focus on anything that's beyond this point, I'm pretty sure it's going to cloud our thinking. Can be focused on, who we got next and who we got in the long run. We just have to be focused on this next game that we have in hand. Just taking one game at a time, and we should be okay.
And what have Brad and Russ done in terms of helping you kind of make the adjustment to come in here and, just kind of showing you what this team has been about and what this team wants to be about?
Really just treating me like I got drafted here. That's the main thing, just kind of like building that chemistry with those guys and kind of, I would say, somewhat building like a brotherhood with those two and just everybody else on the team. It's just like one big happy family. Like I'm always say that it's kind of like one big happy family for me. Just being in this situation, and when I got traded here, I've felt welcomed here ever since I got here, and from that point on, I've just been working to just be more and more accumulated to the team and like the staff and everything. Because I like it here, and it's gonna be a good run for us for sure.
Thank you,
Scott.
Hey, Gaff. You guys have basically played a playoff game every game for quite a while now. So I'm wondering, what kind of toll has that taken mentally, physically on the team? How much do you have left in the tank? Because for a good month, every game has been so important.
Mentally, I really can't speak for anybody, but just like I had said with the game that's coming up, we just had to take it one game at a time. We wanted to be in this position, so we worked our butts off to get in this position, and that's one thing that we all came together and we locked in, and we made sure we did. From the guys that were starting, from the guys that were coming off the bench, came in and did what we had to do. Whether it was a rough night and it was an ugly win, or if it was a good night, if it was a pretty win, we just came out and we took care of business.
And what's it say about the character and kind of the makeup of this team to treat every game like a playoff game? And obviously, you guys are getting rewarded now.
Really just shows that if we lock in and just really just put our minds to it, it can take us a long way. So really just being able to just come together as a team, is lock in and like making the goal of what we want and attacking that goal. It can really just take us as far as we want to go.
Thank you.
Chase.
Hey, Daniel. Bradley Beal's kind of waited a while to get back to this point in the postseason. And when you arrived on this team, it wasn't necessarily a high point, and then you guys have gone on this run. How have you seen his mood change in the last few weeks, or have you seen it change? What have your impressions been of Bradley Beal and just how he's enjoyed this?
I can just tell he's enjoying it because, everybody wants to play in the postseason, I think after we had lost that second game, this is about Russ, we had lost the second game in Atlanta. And he was just talking about how, I didn't make plans to go on a vacation or anything after the season because he wanted to play in the postseason. And Brad was agreeing because of just the simple fact that he wanted to do the same thing. I'm just thinking in my mind, kind of that sometimes is, the mentality of some people because, they're in this position, they're losing games, they're in a position they might not be in the play-in or maybe even in the playoffs. And just seeing that those guys have that mentality really just stood out to me because of how much they really love the game and how much they really want to play for more throughout their careers or things like that. So it really just stood out to me, kind of helped me build my mentality to where, where I wanted to play more and more, just in the postseason and stuff. Because I've been in a position to where, I'm just here. It's another game. Gonna go home, play my game, be around my dogs and everything that's in my house, certain things like that. But now, I'm further in the position now since I'm around two, vet guys that they want to play in the postseason and stuff. And it's really just showing me how much guys really want to, play after the season. And just seeing how Brad, he comes in every day, especially with the hamstring things he's dealing with. Just seeing the things that he does to really just work to get back to it, and just seeing how much frustration it was when he had actually hurt his hamstring. It was just a real big thing for me because of how much he wants it.
Last question to Neil.
Daniel, obviously you guys have had practices very few and in between, with guys limited and things like that. What were you guys able to accomplish today? Was it mostly film stuff? Were you guys able to go through anything on the court and things like that?
It was mostly film and just like optional shooting, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. We just sat down, watched film together, went through like, the personnel and stuff for Boston. And if guys wanted to get shots up, we did. And I always come in and get shots up. If not, I just get free throws up. But that's just my main. But that's what today was.
And, obviously still you've only been here for 2 months now. Where would you say is your chemistry, fit, and everything like that? Is it still, increasing day by day, or would you say that, you're fully into it now?
It's increasing day by day. I wouldn't say I'm fully into it just yet. I'm for sure it's a lot of things that still learning, certain things like that, especially with some of the guys on the team and whatnot. But it's increasing day by day. I love this squad, and I've loved it ever since I got here. And like day by day, I've always learned new things, or I've always seen new things. And the friendships and relationships between all the guys on the team, it gets better and better day in and day out. So the chemistry is getting like, it's almost at 100%, but it's not quite there yet.
Thanks, Daniel.
That's it. Thank you, Daniel.
All right, thank you.